Hey friends, this video is just to be able to allow you a chance to be able to see the landscape of life in a real quick version so that you can review it and just to model what it would look like to do it in more of a 5-minute time frame than the longer version that I did on call number 1. So here would be like a quick version of it. So this tool is called the landscape of life, and it really shows us these 4 different ways that God, who loves to encounter us, to be known, shows up in our lives. And so the first one would be something with this mountaintop landscape that I have here, somewhat poorly drawn. And these types of moments are eruptive moments. They're eruptive because inside of this mountain is the presence of God. And so what happens is we come into contact with the presence of God in these eruptive moments. You can look at the life of Moses to be able to see an example of that at the burning bush, where he comes into contact really in this dramatic, powerful way. And it really is life-changing and directional for Moses. Everything happens from that point. The next kind of moment, go back to my color scheme here, is something that I would use like that to be able to depict. And this, different than the eruptive moments, which typically are positive in nature, these are erosive moments. And these erosive moments are usually longer seasons of time where there's stuff that's difficult to deal with, stresses or challenges that we face. But as we persevere, we come into contact with that same presence of God that shows up on the mountaintop, reveals itself in these kind of like low points in this valley. And so the same presence, we come into contact as things get worn away. You can see this in the life of David, from the time that he's anointed to the time that he's crowned king, and the difficulty that he goes through during that time. The next kind of moment would be a moment that I would do drawing like this, line straight down, a little bit raised like that, to show a fault line. And so, like the fault line, these moments are called earthquake moments. And these earthquakes are sudden and immediate. They tend to be negative, like the erosive, but they're like really quick. It's the phone call that we get. It's the news that we didn't want to hear. We don't always experience the presence of God like we would in the mountaintop moment immediately. Oftentimes, at least for my story, it's I've come into contact in reflection. I've thought back, dug into it a little bit more, and realized with a little bit of distance that God was there in this powerful way and revealing something, usually that I needed to understand, that might only be revealed in that specific way. And the last one, would be this one. Here with real straight lines up and down, and then a depiction of a poorly drawn shovel there. And this type of moment are excavation moments. And these are where we utilize spiritual disciplines in order to encounter the presence of God. It's the same presence that is available on the mountaintop or in the erosive moment or in the earthquake, but it's usually through slow methods. And so whether it's the hours of prayer that you see the early church engaging in that were a carryover from the Jewish history, Peter and John are at the gate, beautiful, because this is the regular time to come to the temple. Those are all methods and patterns of excavation. Jesus with uh, the disciples, and they couldn't cast out this demon. What happened here? Prayer and fasting are listed as means to be able to engage with this and overcome this kind of spiritual opposition. So you just see different spiritual disciplines used all throughout biblical and Christian history as means to be able to encounter the presence of God. Oftentimes, again, less dramatic, but still incredibly important, because that's the presence of God that really makes a big difference. So this is the landscape of life. I usually kind of land the plane with this. God is active and alive today. We can position ourselves for encounters. We can use spiritual discipline for encounters as the primary takeaways there. So there's the landscape of life. hopefully in close to that 5-minute mark. Thanks a whole bunch for watching this. Hope that's helpful. Bye-bye.